G'day, it's Robbie here again. Well, I've got a little project in mind that should be interesting. I want to make up a mount for one of my electric drills and basically mount it on the end of the drive body. This is a mount, a hand grip from my Wolf drill, and basically all of these drills, modern drills, have the same diameter hand grip mount on the end of the drive body, and what I want to do is cast up something out of a bit of aluminium, make it easy, and I want to make up a mount so I can mount this on the lathe, and if all goes to plan I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do with this down the track, but I don't want to overcomplicate the issue, and I want to do a reasonably okay job out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some aluminium in a good old sardine tin, and if you look at a sardine tin is basically the ideal thickness for what I want to use this for. It's also the right dimension for what I want to do with it, and it's just a matter of really make sure that when you pour the aluminium you don't get any cavitation effect. You know, as it shrinks, you get shrinkage and you'll get that hollow. I don't want to lose any of the depth. I want to keep what we've got, which would be pretty near perfect. So the idea is I'll cut out the top of the tin with the edge of the tin with a can opener, and then I'll cut some of the end off with a little pencil die grinder, just cut out enough that I can pour the aluminium in. And the idea is that I'll mount the tin vertically and pour in through the top. Have a metal plate on this side to seal it, so it's just a hole at the top. Put the whole thing in a bucket of sand. I'll probably put a clamp on here just to hold it together. Have a bit of steel on the back to give it some support. So basically you'll finish up with a void, which will be the shape of the inside of the sardine tin, and any shrinkage should be up the top only. And as I'm going to mill off the end of that, that's not going to matter, so I'm going to use a bit of an old barbecue plate. So you go in the bucket of sand like that, vertically, hole cut in the end, metal plate this side, and probably a little G-clamp to keep it all together, and hopefully it shouldn't leak much around or anything around the edge. And yeah, that's today's little effort, and yeah, we'll get on with it. To do this I'm going to use some of this aluminium down here, which is the Toyota car wheel rim I cut up in a previous video. And I want some aluminium that's going to be slightly springy. This should be really high quality aluminium, and it should be perfect for this job, because when you make up this this grip, I want to slot it, well, an equivalent of this, I want to slot it through one side, and then the aluminium needs to be springy so that it can just pull down and then spring back afterwards. So this should be perfect for the job. So we'll see how we go. These little tins are actually very handy for a lot of things. You can use them for little trays to put bits and pieces in, and I've even used them to make a bi-quad and Wi-Fi antenna, where you basically use them as the bi-quad reflector, and you just have a little bow tie antenna in here and a cable at the back, and they make great little bi-quad antennas. Handy for all sorts of things. Actually, rather than use the little air grinder, I'll just use a pair of tin snips just to cut on one end and just fold it back. So this should do the job. Right, that'll make a bit of a guide as well, so that's good. As these tins have got a sort of a coating inside, I think I might burn that off first before I use it, otherwise it could bubble up and make problems. So I'll just isolate it from the vise and just heat it up with the torch, burn that off. Should do the job. Now we'll put it in the bucket with some sand. Well, slight change of plan. I'll put it in this tin because it fits in better than in the bucket. I was going to have sand right up to the edges, so there wouldn't be any leakage, but I don't think it's going to leak anyway. Looking at it, it seems to have pulled in pretty tight. So we'll take our chance on it and just see how it goes. If it leaks, I'll just have to redo it and put sand right up to the very, very edges. So we'll give this a go, see what happens. I'll do this outside. It's safer and, you know, less fumes and stuff. Well, that was a total fail. It leaked like a sieve. So it looks like, as that was my last sardine tin, it looks like it's sardines for lunch, and we have another another go after lunch. Obviously, that's not going to work. We're just going to have to just take the top out and just put it horizontal, pour it in, and hope for the best. Well, that was a total disaster, and you know, I was surprised it just didn't work, because I've poured into tin cans plenty of times and no problem, you know. I've even managed to just seal them around the edge with just a bit of flat steel like I was going to do there, but this just absolutely pissed everywhere. And I thought, oh well, I'll have more sardines and have another go. And then I was looking at the remnants, and when I tried to peel the tin off the aluminium, it wouldn't come off. It was all bonded together, and I thought, well, that's pretty odd. And then I thought, don't tell me, I wonder if this is actually aluminium instead of tin. So I've got my super magnet. This is a super duper iridium magnet. Look at that. The oldest trick in the book, and I fell for it. It's not even tin, it's the sardine tin is actually made of aluminium. Can you believe that? And these were King Oscar brands, and here's some Brunswick ones. Same thing. So how about that? The sardine tin is actually sardine aluminium. God blimey, wouldn't it just? Anyway, looks like this idea is never going to work. Not unless I can track down sardine in real tin cans, which I don't think is going to happen. That looks like we can sign this whole idea to the trash can for now, but I'll be coming back on it on a different angle. I still need to make up some aluminium, that particular shape, for my project, and where there's a will, there's a way, and I'll find another way to do it. I can even try using sand. I've got some bentonite clay now and sand, so I could mix up some green sand and try green sand casting. Anyway, that's it for now, folks. I'm off to have some sardines for lunch, and no, I'm not actually. I'm going to have a beer right now. Okay, see you later. Cheers.